boys and girls. I'm so glad to be here with you today, and we are going to be doing our daily read aloud with me, Miss Jacob. And today's book is going to be kind of about the same thing that we've been reading this week. This whole week, we're talking about celebrating differences. And just to kind of remind you guys, the books that we've read this week are Big Al, about the fish who looks very different than the other little fish. And the little fish were afraid of him because he looked different. But then they learned very quickly that they didn't have anything to be afraid of because he was actually a very nice fish and helped save them and rescue them. And so just because he was different looking, that didn't have anything to do with how he was on the inside, that he was still nice and friendly. So that was a book we read. We also looked at this book, this silly book, The Cow That Went Oink. And this book was about a cow that goes oink and a pig that goes moo. But we learned quickly that they were special animals because they ended up learning how to say oink and moo. And none of the other animals could make two sounds, but they learned how to make two sounds. So we learned that even though they were different, that was okay. And today's book is called Leo the Late Bloomer. And let me shut this blind for a second. Oh my, maybe that'll help. I had noticed a glare that was on the book, and I think that did help a little bit. So this book is called Leo the Late Bloomer, and Leo didn't know how to read, and he didn't know how to write, and he didn't know how to draw. And his dad was really worried that he didn't know how to do those things. But his mom was not so worried about that. She knew that in time he was going to bloom or blossom like a flower does. And what the author means by that is, you know how the flowers in the springtime bloom and grow and blossom? Well, his mom knew that he was going to be like that too, and that someday he would grow into learning how to read and write and draw and do all of the things that would make him so special and smart. So she wasn't worried about him. And we are going to learn through this book today that everyone learns in different ways, and that is okay. We all learn differently. I love the unit of talking about celebrating differences because I'm super glad that we're all different. Because if we were all the same, it would be really boring, wouldn't it? But since we all have differences, we come together and we're all unique, and it creates a great learning experience for everybody. So let's get into our book. Leo the Late Bloomer. This is by Robert Krause, and the pictures are by Jose Arguello. Leo couldn't do anything right. Aw, I'm so sad that Leo feels that way. His face looks sad. He couldn't read. So it looks like the owl is reading and the snake, but Leo looks sad because maybe Leo didn't know how to read his book. And the elephant is reading, and the bird is reading, and the alligator is reading, but Leo didn't know how to read and he felt sad. Have you ever felt that way before? He could not write, so he didn't know how to write either. So owl could write his name, elephant could write his name, snake could write his name, and the bird could write his name and the crocodile, but he didn't know how to write or draw. He couldn't draw either. I bet he could draw, but he just didn't feel confident about it. He was a sloppy eater, too. Oh my. Do you know what it means to be a sloppy eater? That means when you eat, you get food all over. Oh my goodness, look. He was a sloppy eater and he must have gotten berries everywhere. And he never said a word. And here it says, the owl is saying, hoo. And the elephant is saying, woo. And the snake is saying, sss. And the little bird is going, chirp, chirp, chirp. And the crocodile is going, chomp, chomp. But Leo didn't say anything. What's the matter with Leo? Asked Leo's father. Nothing, said his mother. Leo is just a late bloomer. Better late than never, thought Leo's father. Every day, Leo's father watched him for signs of blooming. So he was waiting for him to bloom like a flower. But it wasn't happening fast enough for Leo's father. And every night, Leo's father watched him for signs of blooming. But he still wasn't blooming. He just has to be patient. Are you sure Leo's a bloomer? Asked Leo's father. Patience, said Leo's mother. A watched bloomer doesn't bloom. So she's suggesting maybe you shouldn't watch him constantly all the time. Maybe you should back away and give him a little bit of room so that he can bloom. So Leo's father watched television instead of watching Leo. The snows came. Leo's father wasn't watching, but Leo still wasn't blooming. So the seasons are changing here, so that means time is passing by. The trees started to bud. So that's after winter comes spring. So now that it's a new season and it's spring, the trees budded. Leo's father wasn't watching, but Leo still wasn't blooming. He looks sad in every picture. Until this picture, boys and girls. Then one day, in his own good time, Leo bloomed. He could read. He could write. He could draw. He ate neatly. He also spoke, and it wasn't just a word. It was a whole sentence. And that sentence was, I made it. So finally, he feels like he made it, and he feels like he has accomplished everything that he was supposed to accomplish. So he can now read and write and draw. And boys and girls, some of you know how to read and write and draw letters and things, and some of you may not yet, but that's okay, because there is a time coming soon, and you too will bloom, I promise. I hope that you all enjoyed this read aloud, and I hope you all have a fabulous day. Bye, guys. See you later.